Greetings from Just Car People Things. Mike here tonight. We are working on our new to us 2008 Toyota Matrix. This is our project car. This will be the first installment of the how to wash your new beater car. How do you drive and find a car these days for $5,000 or less? I am about $4,300 into this car between tax, title, license, and the purchase price of a vehicle from a private party. I'm going to show you how I can spend that remaining $700 to really dress this vehicle up, make it look like a presentable daily driver, be able to drive it to work, not have your coworkers laugh at you. I mean, it is a Toyota Matrix, but it's better than walking. And so, you know, we're in this time where it's really tough to be able to swing buying a $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 Lexus SUV. And so I went out and I said, where can I find a decent car, and scored this thing for pretty reasonable money. It's got new tires on it. It had 3 pages of dealer service history, which is pretty shocking. Everything was gone through. Got a few things I'm tinkering with. The aircon doesn't really work. And I noticed that the car had probably sat outside quite a bit. And I'm now working through how to remove that layer of gunk and grime that has embedded itself in places and pockets around the vehicle, and how you can clean that off. This is going to be one of the rare times in car world that I actually recommend you use a fairly degreasing wash for the vehicle. One thing I like to start with is the dreaded D bottle here, Dawn. This is a dishwashing soap mix with just some water. Anytime I see a spot that I think is particularly gunky on the car, I'll take this spray, and I kind of already have, and I'll work around the vehicle, try to get it into the cracks. And this is before I even foam gun the car. And you can see here, like, some of this stuff has just built up, and this will cut that dirt that is buried in some of these areas to be able to help lift it out and remove it effectively. And you'll probably even be able to see that process start right there, and you can sort of see that gunk that's buried in there, and you can even see how bad the headlights are. This is standing, those appear to be dead bugs and standing water inside this taillight. So we're actually going to take these taillights off probably in the near future and either replace them or pull them apart. But just to show you an example, when you open the doors, and this is a highlight of a vehicle having sat a lot outside, you can see that grime has built up inside the hinges, and eventually this will, you know, potentially lead to rust. Water, salt, all that garbage will accumulate there. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll come in here with the spray bottle with the Dawn and get a brush, and look at that. Look at that beautiful grossness that's in there. So I've got the pressure washer out. We're going to kind of go through and really hit the vehicle. This area looks pretty good. Kind of work some of these little pockets and see some of these different areas on the vehicle where you see this grime build up, and you can see it's built up along this edge, and then even inside the door seals. This is another really big area, so you can see it's like caked on there. If you get a little liquid on there, it'll loosen up, but it's literally caked on. This is just tree debris, fallout, just everything that's in the air floating around every day that you filter out through your nose. But the car has come to live with this stuff, and so sometimes you see these seals just pack with this stuff, and just using even my fingers in here, you can see the debris coming off of this. So we're going to try to flush a lot of this out and try to get it off the vehicle, because of course over time this degrades your seals as well. It will kill the seals. Then you're going to be like, man, why is my car so noisy when I'm driving down the street? And it actually makes the seals sticky. You see how this one actually popped off the vehicle here in the back, and sometimes this happens as they shrink over time. So we'll work on some of these things to really nail it down and make the car look really nice. But just wanted to show you first, I'm going to take the Dawn, and I'm going to find those pockets. You see stuff hiding, you know, make sure you get into these areas and kind of work them. And I'm doing this inside. I'm doing it in, obviously it's night out, it's shaded, it's a cool, comfortable temperature. You wouldn't really want to do this in the sun. This is something that you're going to want to try to do indoors in a relatively protected environment. Take a good look at all the different stuff, you know, that you want to see and treat and handle and manage. You can see there's a bunch built up on this. And we'll just come in here with this spray and just spray it all out. And then eventually you can literally see already it's starting to run out of the vehicle. A lot of times, you know, like when cars get prepped, you can see this is build up right here. This is actually, I bet you at one point this car was almost completely covered in certain areas in some of this debris. It's literally just dirt. It's the easiest way to describe it. So I do recommend using a fairly strong degreasing product. This is a first wash, so we're going to be doing the traditional detailing stuff with a polisher and making the paint look really nice going forward. I caught a ton of crap too down in this little area as well, across the front of the windshield. And what I recommend doing is, after you're done with that, grabbing your trusty detail brush, and you can actually even soak this down with this. And I'm going to foam gun the car too and do kind of the normal wash stuff. But, you know, come in here and you can actually agitate this stuff out. And you'll start to see, you might notice the color change there. Look at the color change versus, you know, a white brush. And that's just junk. That's literally just garbage that's trapped in there. And I bet you that goes the whole way down this rail across the roof. That if you really flush this out, and you can see all of that debris that's in there. And you're not really worried, I hate to say this, you're not really worried about scratching the paint right now. You're gonna correct the paint later. This is a triage step, because if you don't clear this junk out of the car now, every time you wash it and or it gets wet for its near future life, it's gonna come out of those pores, and then you're gonna like be fighting it all the time. You can see how dirty this brush has just gotten just at that little bit. So I really recommend taking a brush. Sometimes you can even grab your pressure washer real quick, and just with the pressure washer off, you can provide like not like a ton of pressure. You don't need like a million PSI to get into some of these spaces. There's some build up right along that edge, and sometimes you even got to grab the brush and use it almost a little, make it a little stiffer. But you can work these edges, and that will pull all that stuff out of there. And if you were to accumulate this, and you might even be able to see, there's all this little black debris that's in this, that's hiding in there. So I'm probably going to take the next 5, 10, 15 minutes to really get into all of these seals along these edges and really try to work them out. Because if you can get this car clean in these little pocket spaces now, the car will stay way cleaner over the course of its future life, just because every time it rains, this stuff doesn't leak out of every pore and crevice in the vehicle. So you can actually see along that edge there's buildup in there. I'm hoping you guys can see that from an angle, but I'll probably just hit it with the pressure washer without any pressure, just with like hose, and then just work this. And you can actually see visibly the color change of the stuff that's coming out of there is brown. It's not white or black. It should be pretty light coming out of there, and you can see when you work this out. This feels like you're going to the dentist's office for a cleaning where they pick at your teeth. I mean, really, it is full of junk in some of these spaces, and you can see it running down the car in a lot of these areas. So we're going to keep at this for a few minutes. If I see a really bad spot, I might jump back in to show it to you. But just wanted to show you that, like, this is the time to use Dawn. Be a little more aggressive in terms of cleaning it. This is also the time to break out our trusty detail brush and really go to town in some of these areas that traditionally, like, you wouldn't even necessarily be cleaning a lot. So you can see, like, you can actually blast this with the brush right here and agitate, and you're not worried about scratching this. You know, this is not an area that's going to show scratches or anything, but you can get in here, work this really thoroughly, and everything in here is now brown. It's crazy how that looks. The color change is nuts. And so a lot of times too, this is going to get soiled, and you're going to want to blast this clean because it's just going to fill up with crap. But real quick, check that out. Magic eraser for cars right there. And look at that stuff just pouring out the bottom here. So you can really dress this car up, because here's the thing. when you go to get in this car and so let's say you're going to sell it, and you go like, you look down at a car you're going to buy and you just see garbage piled up inside these door jambs. Man, that really detracts from like the appearance of the car. It makes it look like it wasn't really well kept and well owned. So sometimes this little tiny stuff can really elevate a car beyond a, no offense, sub $5,000 daily driver car. If it's not rusting, doesn't have a bunch of weird problems with it, if you can clean it up, people will think a little more of it. So I'll be back with you guys in a few minutes once I'm done with this kind of initial part of the process, and this initial clean in certain areas, and I'll show you what our next step is. Okay, I gotta tell you guys, one of the best parts about working on a car like this is getting absolutely startled by something dumb that happens. Yeah, so I was just trying to get in this thing and clean it because it was literally full of water. This was a lot of this junk was actually stuck inside this light, and it appears the seal on it is just non-existent, that there is no seal left on these taillights at all. And as I was working around it, somebody decided to make an exit, and you can see, look at the debris. This is garbage. Ew, God, this is so gross. That's literally biofilm. This is bacteria and plant debris. You can see it's green, and that's come out. But you can see all of this debris here on the floor has come from this area, and this has all basically come out of this edge and worked its way down here. So this seal across the top appears to have completely failed. You can see the gasket material coming apart here. And I guess for the meantime, I will just, because that was, I don't know how the hell that even, all right. Is that, nope, did I just break it? Probably. All right, well, for the moment, while we wash this thing, we're just gonna like set that there and just have that protect the taillight. But I gotta remove these, and I'll wash the car now, and that'll keep the water from getting too much in there. But that just goes to show you how much garbage is stuck in this thing. And again, I've been using the pressure washer, which is very low power here, to just sort of knock it loose. And you can be a lot more aggressive. I mean, you can come in here with the full power pressure washer, just blast it, but I worry about that. This also fell out of there. There's like, that's like your blinker. I don't know. Figure that out later. But one of the areas I caught that had a ton of junk accumulate is under these lips, front and rear. And this is all sitting on the paint. And it just is accumulating in some of these spaces. And this is really bad news, because eventually when dirt accumulates like that, it's gonna rust. It's gonna turn to rust, and you're gonna be screwed. So fix it now. And you can see all the debris that was in there. Fix it now, be done with it. Don't have to worry about it anymore, and you're good to go. But yeah, that was absolutely hilarious. I was literally just working there, it just goes bink and pops right off. I'm guessing that when I remove these, I'll clean them all out, get them looking really nice, and probably get some type of a sealant to reseal these, like an epoxy. JB Weld makes a few different types, but I'll probably take a crack at that later. I was just tinkering away here, and I hear bing, and the thing just falls right off. So clearly this had sat outside. Clearly the seal on it had been compromised, and you're going to get stuff like this. The good news is these are super cheap parts. These actually, I looked online, these are only like 40 or 50 bucks each. Even used, they're even cheaper. So good news, they built a lot of these things, and so those parts are available. But you can see here too, this hose, for example, has just debris all over it. It just accumulated on there, and you can see it just running off the car. So this is what happens when you park a car outside every day of its life, and it's not the end of the world, but just understand that the car is never really going to look clean when this is the type of debris that's coming off of it. So with that, I'll be back with you once I start probably foam gunning the car here in a minute. Cheers, guys. All right, we are putting away the dreaded Dawn. There's my screaming loud Ryobi pressure washer. We're putting away the dreaded Dawn, pulling our green tip off, and going to a pretty stiff mix of just a snow foam product. I actually get this in bulk at Costco. We're gonna make sure that's secure. One thing I always recommend, whenever you put a new nozzle or tip on your pressure washer, shoot it in a direction that it will not do any damage, because if this, particularly this guy, does not seat all the way in there, you will fire it at your vehicle. And while this is a 2008 Toyota Matrix, so you don't have to care that much, if you're detailing a really nice S2000 with, say, a really one-piece aluminum thin metal soft top or hard top, and you ping that thing at it like a pellet gun, it's gonna dent it and or chip the paint. So make sure when you put something new in your pressure washer, you always test fire it in the right direction. We're gonna quick foam the car. I feel like we already did a lot of the things that foam can do, but you'll be shocked by just how much more this pulls out of the vehicle. So we're just gonna do one quick coat on the car. Sorry for the loud noises, because we are in an enclosed space and that pressure washer is old and noisy. One side of the vehicle down right there. We also don't want to coat our entire garage in foam. You can see how far it's flying off this thing, so. You don't have to go crazy here. You've already attacked the car with Dawn dishwashing soap. You can't do too much more damage with the foam gun, but we'll just come around and get the nose real quick. The little behind the back move is a signature amateur detailer move. And that's that. So now we're in the clear here. I'll probably save this. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. So when I wash my terribly dirty GX460 tomorrow or the next day, I've got a little bit left and I can just add to it. That's clean soap. So again, test fire. Cool. Now one of the things I like to do, normally I would do the wheels in this scenario. This has steel wheels and they've got hubcaps over the top of it. So I'm not mega worried about detailing the wheels right now, just because you don't get a lot out of wiping them down. You don't need a full wheel bucket. It's not like you're chasing an alloy or getting way inside the barrels. But one thing I do like to do at this point is to take that detailing brush and find those spots that crap has probably built up in the car and just go back over it one more time. Just agitate it again and you'll see, I mean, you can see look at the color change right there. There's stuff hiding in here, and you can literally see the foam look a different color when you get into some of this stuff and you agitate it. So this is kind of one of those quick tricks. This won't take more than a minute on each side of the car to get into some of those pockets, some of those places that really accumulate. Under here is a really good example. Look at the stuff I just pulled out from under that lip. So if you don't agitate that and shake it loose, every time water gets under there, some of that stuff, that debris is going to come out onto your paint. You're going to be living with it every day going forward. And we have to be careful around this because remember we had a little incident a minute or two ago. But this is kind of a old school quickie detailer trick to use that detail brush as your best friend. Get into some of these spaces again, particularly with the car wash foam. This stuff's really designed to have a lot of lifting power. I can see some unevenness, some crap built up along there. Ooh. So this is just a fast way to do all these different spaces. And look, I'm like dredging up in this channel, because this is the primary channel where water's coming down this roof right down here and exiting out, you know, into this space down ahead of the hood. So you can literally see the foam, car wash foam, change color when you do this. So pretty wild. The front looks pretty good. It seems like someone really went through and took their time with the front, but this is a chance too to get in here with the brush on things like the emblem, some of the other areas. These don't get cleaned very often, so what I tend to find is when you do this, the color change on the soap is really crazy, and you can actually watch as what comes off of there doesn't look quite like white soap anymore, but that's just because these areas don't really get clean. And when you do all these areas together, and you really take the time to do all of them and get up into some of these spaces that people don't normally get up into. Like I'm just pulling, like there's like a whole dead bug we just pulled out of there. People don't get into these spaces and clean them like they should, and it makes the whole car look kind of dingy. So this would be my kind of detail advice in this video is, if you're gonna spend like an hour or two cleaning the car, like an initial wash, like what we're doing right now, take the time to do this, because it is night and day different. You can see the water running down this channel, and this one is packed with garbage. Look at that. Wow. So get your brush, wedge it in there if you need to, kind of squeeze it in there and just work it. And if you need more, this is the best part. You got plenty more product built up at the bottom of the windshield. So this is one of those areas that when people say, oh, I don't know why my car is rusting around the windshield frame, this is absolutely why your car is probably rusting around the windshield frame. So we'll come in here and just keep working this until we feel good about it. Look at that. Amazing. Amazing, amazing. It just goes to show you how much junk builds up in there. If it's really, really bad, and you can actually get the back of your detail brush in there. Sometimes I'll use this pegwood almost, especially on like rubber. You're not gonna hurt the rubber. And get in there and work it. And that brings you to the whole car. So now what I typically will do is I'll actually fully rinse the car, then I'll do a traditional wipe down wash. I want to remove all of this stuff. Look at how nasty that is. I want to remove all of that off the car onto the ground before I take a cloth and wipe the car down. So I'm actually going to pretty thoroughly rinse it as the next step. So we'll start by cleaning that guy off. But here's your moment of zen, folks. Remember that you don't need to go completely crazy here, because you are still going to wash it again, but you do want to be able to look at the side of the vehicle and not see any of that built up black debris. So sometimes you'll look at the car and you'll see like the almost looks spotted in areas. You don't want that. You can just see the junk water falling out of behind this this panel, this little piece of plastic here, and we'll have to really flush that out. I mean, you can just see it coming right down the paint off the back of the vehicle here. So this is a really nasty spot. I'll probably come back around to it again here in a minute, but this gives you a good idea of the process. From here, we're just going to wash the car real quick. I'll show you that in a second. Well, the amount of crap that has come off this thing is like the Noah's Ark flood level pile of crap. I've rinsed this thing multiple times, and there's still a little bit of it coming out, particularly from this tail light I'm trying to avoid because the lens fell off it. I actually opened the door in the garage to do the mats real quick, but just to give you an idea, this is just a sample of some of the stuff that's come out of all the different little pockets inside of this car. But I'm going to touch on the mats real quick. These are actually pretty nice all-weather mats. One thing I recommend is hitting them with a pretty aggressive cleaner. Obviously, you're going to want to make sure this is color safe for this stuff. It should be fine, but I like hitting it real quick with a little bit of this is a Wesley's bleach white. I find that it does a really nice job, and you can see there's a little discolor on this. I find it does a nice job of really as like a very high test degreaser basically. So you can do that. Throw this back in your bin, and you'll see this is starting to look a little bit better. It's starting to look a little more like it's supposed to. It's very flat. You'll notice the water looks very flat on the paint. Apparently we're having a party out. Oh, football game over or something. Well, anyways, you'll notice the water looks really flat. There's not a lot of beading on the paint. That's because you've pulled off all of the protection with that Dawn dishwash soap, that pretty aggressive wash. I'll take that detail brush and I'll just do the quick wipe down on the mats. And this is a easy process. You don't have to go crazy or anything, but you just do quick run through. You kind of get into all the little crevices and pull up all the junk. These back guys don't look bad at all. I don't think anyone ever sat in the back seat of this car. Even the front passenger one looks pretty lightly worn. So sometimes you can get in and just wipe these out basically. And you're just kind of working that product around to get a nice coat and maybe lift some junk off. But if you just grab your pressure washer, oh, also helpful if you turn your pressure washer on. There we go. And there you go, good as new. These do still have a little discolor on them, but they're not bad. So you just hit all these with the pressure washer. And now we just let those dry. And now we shut the garage door because it's like 35 degrees out right now and it's cold. But that's where we're at. We're gonna dry this thing. Probably start working on these tail lights, I think, are the next priority, just given what I'm seeing with those. And I bet you when I remove them, there's gonna be a whole bunch of junk underneath them. They're pretty easy to remove. So I'll probably just pull those. There's some screws inside. I'll probably do a separate video about that. But from here, it's just drying it. All you got to do is just get a clean, dry microfiber, dry the vehicle completely, and then it's going to be ready to polish. So probably tomorrow we'll come out and do a quick video on how to polish and touch up this paint. It honestly, silver is a color that's so great because it looks good. I'm also going to talk to my paintless dent guy and see if I can't figure out how to fix some of these dents we've got in the hood. They're not really super major. This one's pretty ugly. I think if I could just fix that one and maybe the two, I think something fell across the vehicle here. If I could fix those three and then maybe a little bit of there's a small ripple. They made contact with something back here in this door. So if you could fix those 4 things, the exterior of the car, honestly, gonna look really good. So with that, I appreciate you guys tuning in. I appreciate you liking and subscribing. Appreciate you enjoying how to clean up a $5,000 or less car in the current financial environment that we're in. I think it's really helpful to know. It doesn't take a ton of really crazy stuff to do it. Tonight's work was mostly pressure washer, car washing soap, a bucket, and some microfibers. You could easily, if you have some of these tools already, do it yourself. You could easily go to even a quarter car wash and do a lot of this stuff yourself. So thank you for tuning in. Have a great night. Cheers, guys.